Hello fellow gamers, Peter Gifford here from the Esoteric Order of Gamers, and welcome! Today something very exciting. I've been waiting for this for a long time and it just arrived this morning. It is Aeon Trespass Odyssey by Into the Unknown. It is a huge box. This is an add-on box here. This is the extra map, the mouse map material map, but this is the main box, and this is heavy. Oh, it's a big heavy box and it's packed with amazing stuff. I've had a quick peek inside, but I wanted to save the unboxing to share with you. So let's have a look inside this game. It was kickstarted quite a while ago now and it raised about $1 million, and it's been hotly anticipated by people. A lot of people have said that it bears some resemblance to Kingdom Death Monster, which was that huge Kickstarter funded game that was very popular. This has the adventure aspect and also the fighting the monsters aspect. Probably more emphasis on the adventure side of it than Kingdom Death Monster, but I don't know a huge amount about the rules yet. I've already started on a rules and reference, which of course I'll be making available on my website at orderofgamers.com. But I'm kind of in the dark as much as you and really looking forward to exploring this. So let's check out Aeon Trespass Odyssey. Now the first thing you'll notice, and the first thing I noticed, is this box, which is white. It's just pure white. Now there is a bit of varnish on here. It says Aeon Trespass Odyssey on the side. It's got the sort of triangular logo there. Yeah, the logo's on all the sides, but it is just a sort of gloss varnish, which is not very easy to see. So, and on the back, if I lift it up, oh, you can see the logo for Into the Unknown there. But really it is just a white box, and unfortunately, I've got to say, the designers missed the mark on this one. It doesn't really work. It just looks like a big white prototype box that no one's bothered to put graphics on. Now, I really do appreciate minimalism in design, and I've seen mock-ups of this box on the Kickstarter page where it just had a minimal amount of graphics on it, and that looked great. For some reason, they decided to go pure white, and yeah, it just doesn't work. Anyway, that's just a thing. I'm sure some people love it. That's really just a complete personal opinion. But it's going to look very strange just sitting on the shelf, this big white box. Anyway, let's have a look inside the big white box because that's what matters. Oh, here we go. And this, as I said, is a heavy box. It's got a lot of stuff in it. First, we've got a whole bunch of counters, and there's quite a few sheets of counters in here. Let's open up this plastic container. Big sheets of counters, as you can see. Where can I put this? It takes up so much room on my table. There's hardly enough room to move anything anywhere. Look at these. So there's some interesting looking graphics here of kind of what city locations and things and corridors and stuff. Now in this game, it's set in a kind of dystopian ancient Greek world where the gods have died and huge monsters called primordials are trying to destroy the world. You play the Argonauts who are traveling across the land of Hellas in your ship, the Argo, and you are controlling these huge 30-foot tall titans to go into battle with the primordials. It's cooperative, and there's exploration and crafting and developing technologies and weapons and gear and training, story elements, and of course lots of combat. It sounds really interesting, and I've been just on Board Game Geek reading some of the reviews and they're all really glowing. Everyone has written very excited and glowing reviews, so it's going to be great to get into. So a whole lot of cardboard there. Now here's the map, and this is a lovely big cardboard map. Oh. Now when I say map, this is of course kind of the tactical board. So this is where you'll be fighting your monsters on this board. It's got spaces around the edge for cards, to put decks of cards. Or alternatively, you can use, if you got it as an add-on, this mat. And you know, they're both nice. I don't know which I prefer really. I mean, I do like the surface of a mouse mat material kind of mat, but I kind of like the colors of the printed one more, of the cardboard one. So yeah, I don't know. It's a matter of personal taste there. You can do either one, but it's nice to have a choice. There we go. Now, look at this. Wow, there's some amazing stuff. I'm just going to spin this round so I can see it. Now, there are 3 big books here, and as you can see, they're big, perfect bound books. And there's a number of cycles here, which I assume are campaigns. There's also a tutorial that eases you into the rules of the game. Let me open these up. Look at this. Now, these minimal covers work, I think, a lot better, and it's a shame they didn't actually do something like this for the cover of the box, because I think the clean white with these bright colors and very iconic kind of symbols here could have worked rather well. It's a bit of a shame, but never mind. Here are our books, and oh wow, look at this. Okay, this is obviously story information here. There's a code there which is leading to a whole lot of story text. Heaps of stuff. Wow. These campaign games are just amazing. There is so much creative writing in them. I cannot believe. I mean, there's books worth. And artwork as well. That's pretty incredible. Now, I believe there's an app as well. I haven't checked out the app yet, and I'm not sure how much of the game it takes over. But I'll look into that in future, because after I played this for a while, I will be, of course, filming a full review of this game. And the funny thing is that in the space of a relatively short period, I've managed to get Oathsworn into the Deepwood, ISS Vanguard, and now Aeon Trespass, and they're all unbelievably huge, consuming campaign type games. So it's hard to find the time to play them. I wish I was doing this full time and I could do nothing but play games, but wow, there's so much content. I've heard there's like 300 or more hours of content in this game alone. ISS Vanguard, of course, is huge by Awaken. You really need a lot of time to get into these games, not to mention painting all the figures and everything. They're really consuming. So while, of course, and I will admit this, they are very, very expensive games, and the shipping is expensive and all the rest of it, you really do get a lot of time, a lot of entertainment out of these games. So I've got to say that. And I should say before I go any further that Into the Unknown were kind enough to send me a copy of this game for free so I could show it to you and also make a rules and reference for you. So thank you very much, people at Into the Unknown. I really, really appreciate it. I think that with the amount of stuff that you get in these, I think, you know, it's kind of worth it if you have the time to play them. And also, just a personal little rant. I mean, a lot of people complain these days about these big Kickstarter games and how excessive they are and how huge they are. I kind of like that stuff. I still like it. If the game is good, obviously the game has got to be good. If it's a crap game that's just got a whole lot of extra stuff, just, you know, padding it out, then obviously that's a waste of time and money. But if the game is good, it's enjoyable, the story is interesting, and it certainly seems to be in this respect that those things are true, then I love the excessive miniatures and the beautiful artwork and just the over-the-top nature of it, because to me, these are fantastic artifacts. They're great objects, and I really like playing them and collecting them and enhancing them and painting the figures. It's a hobby. It's not just playing a game, and I think a lot of people think, oh, well, you know, you just need a good game and it doesn't have to be big. Well, it's not just a game for a lot of people, including myself. It's a hobby. It's an all-consuming hobby. So there's nothing wrong with these big games if you enjoy them and if you can afford them. So let's get further into this one. So as you can see, there are a heap of miniatures here. We've got some huge trays, multi-level trays. Now this one here comes out, and you may think, well, this is the end, there's just all these miniatures. Under this, there's a huge amount of stuff still to go. We'll look at these miniatures in more detail in a moment. As I said, there's a tray here, and then under that, there's a big cover going on top of yet another tray with some 3 huge miniatures there. I'll show you those in a moment. Now, those 3 books were the campaign books. We've got a how to play book here as well. So first there's Learn to Play, which is your tutorial thing. You've got a battle set up, how the campaign works and everything. So that's kind of longer than your average rule book, just your tutorial. It's that. And then a full perfect bound rule book as well. So making a rules and reference for this is going to take quite some time and a lot of work. As you can see, there is heaps of text. This is not a simple game. It's pretty complex and detailed. Check all that out. That is a lot of rules. So I don't think I'll be distilling that down to just 2 sheets. It's probably going to take a lot more than that. I will do it as fast as I can. I've already started, but there's a lot of stuff to summarize there, and it's going to take me quite a bit of time. But you know, that's what I do, and hopefully it'll make playing this game a lot easier. So let's look at some of the lovely stuff we have in here. There's a little padding bit there. So this looks like some kind of character sheets. And I think this is where the more minimal design look, you know, works really, really well. You do need some graphics. You can't just have total white. But this is very clean, lovely graphic design, as you can see. And it looks like we've got all the characters. These may be our main Argonauts. I believe there's 9 of them. There we go. And then it looks like we've got sheets for monsters, story sheets. This is lovely design. Looks like we've got a book here and great artwork. Apparently there's so many cards in this game, and there's heaps and heaps of artwork. This looks like your monster cards as well. So there's a lot of detail there. All the monsters play differently. They have a little AI system. This is a co-op game, I should point out. It's really lovely. I love the artwork, the design. It's great stuff. So heaps of those. Of course, we have the traditional do not open until you're told to do so envelope, which is so common in these campaigns. So who knows what's in there? It'll probably take me hundreds of hours to find out. Got some nice looking dice. There we go. Of course, they've got special symbols on them and such. And look at all these cards. So we've got a space to put things here. But there's an astonishing amount of cards here. We have these little things which of course go on your little sliders. It looks like, oh look, there's a whole lot of do not open until you're told to do so things there. And then these are the tiles which you can use as you're traveling around. You reveal these tiles and build up the map. And I've actually got the extra add-on here, which is the premium tiles, and these ones are obviously a lot thicker. So if I open up this box, you can see all the tiles there in a thicker format. They have a much thicker card, so they're really nice. So that's a really nice thing to have, I think, to have those premium cards. Though of course they are just in the base game, as well as normal card thickness cards. And then we've got so many cards here. There's some armor. These are all special items. Looks like everything's illustrated. Fists. There's just your basic fists if you're fighting with those. Exploration cards. Some kind of story thing. Wow, there is so much here. I'm not going to go through them all because there's about 1,500 cards or something crazy here. But you can see the quality is fantastic. Lovely little items and things. Then we've got some larger format ones here. An ambrosial vesicle, whatever the hell that is. Ambrosial vesicle. Wow. Here we've got tele-resuscitation, something to do with combat. Really looking forward to trying out the combat system. It sounds very interesting, and it sounds as if the monsters are quite challenging and individual. They have their own styles of play and combat, which sounds fun. A single wound. I imagine I'll be getting a few of those. This looks like an AI deck, Hypertime Oracle. Wow. Look at this. I am not going to be sleeving all these cards. There are just way too many of them. Secret decks, as you can see, there's quite a number of secret decks as well. Temenos armor. Really like the one color kind of design of that. It's lovely. Oh, look at that left hook. Isn't that great? What fantastic artwork. Corruption's root. So, what an amazing amount of content. And this is obviously why this box is so heavy, because it's full of so many cards. Incredible. Got some more secret decks there with some larger size cards. Pretty amazing. And really nice insert. As you can see, there's a place for everything. I don't know what you'd do if you'd sleeve these. There wouldn't be enough space, but I think it'd be crazy to sleeve so many cards, especially in a campaign game. You're often not using the cards over and over again, so it's okay not to sleeve them. Right, well, the only thing that remains is to look at some of these miniatures, and I've had a quick look at them and they look fantastic, so let's go into a little bit more detail now. Okay, here's our first tray, and there's some really interesting, weird things here. And when I see new miniatures, I always look for that kind of sharpness of sculpt and sharpness of 3D print, because that makes them so much easier to paint. There's nothing worse than a miniature that just has kind of muddy detail, because you kind of have to paint in the delineation yourself. With a sharp miniature, the paint can flow beautifully into the crevices and everything, and it's easier to paint, especially if you're using a lot of contrast paints these days, as I do, to speed things up. So I immediately noticed that it does have some very nice sharp detail. Look at that. And the other thing is that these are just unique creatures, and I'm constantly amazed by the creativity in these kind of things. They're coming up with new creatures. No one's really that interested in seeing the same old orcs and goblins and things like that these days, so they really have to come up with brand new things. And check this out, this horrific thing made up of arms and legs and hands. I mean, wow. And this is where you do get some of that Kingdom Death Monster feel, because they had some really creepy things. Though I didn't back Kingdom Death Monster at the time, and this was before I was reviewing things and getting freebies and stuff. I didn't back it because I didn't like the sort of the kind of girly look to it, you know, the sort of girly magazine thing with, you know, it just seemed tacky to me and a bit childish. So I wasn't crazy about that kind of stuff, and that's why I wasn't particularly interested in it. This thankfully doesn't go that route, but there's still some very imaginative creatures here. Look at this thing. It's horrible. Really quite creepy, actually. This is some kind of flaming skeleton thing. This thing is fantastic. I mean, this really has a bit of a Guillermo del Toro feel. Look at that. It'd be great fun to paint. This is kind of an Atlas guy holding some kind of huge sculptured thing. But the sculpts are just lovely. Look at this thing. It's like multiple faces and it's on legs. Oh, really interesting. Here we've got a very muscly, mean-looking dude. Some horrible stretched muscle face. This must be the Argonaut, that little ship which will go travelling from tile to tile. Got some smaller pieces which are still quite lovely. Some winged beastie. These look a little bit like our heroes. I have no idea what this thing is, but it's got tentacles and it creeps me out. And I just love this guy. Look at him. He's just got some kind of flamethrower thing with a backpack and heaps of detail. And this glorious godlike being. It'll be really fun to paint with a big sort of graduation of colour, really bright behind him and then going out to maybe yellow or red on the edges, or blue even. This is the one challenge with these kind of miniatures, because you don't get painting reference for them all. There is some reference of paint jobs that other people have done and some on the Kickstarter page, but you often have to come up with your own colour schemes, which is something I'm not crazy about doing, surprisingly enough. You'd think as a graphic designer I'd find it easy, but I actually find it easier and faster just to reference someone else's paint job that's been done professionally. It just makes the whole process a lot faster. and there's no room for kind of errors, because sometimes when you're doing your own scheme, you can start painting and just decide, oh, that color's not working, and have to do it again, stuff like that. So it's a bit of a challenge when there are new things like that, like this. Now we have, I won't show you everything, but they're all lovely and of the same quality. We've got some interesting things going on. I know there's some interchangeable pieces here. So there's various pieces here that fit into other miniatures. So this little piece probably fits into one of the big guys I'll show you in a moment. We've got some kind of, I don't even know what these bits are. I'm going to have to work out how they go together. They're all kind of weird and creepy looking. That's very heroic. Look at that spear. Incredible. So if we look at these large ones, and these are astounding. So look at this. It's like a huge diorama of Atlantis sinking or something. So I can only assume that some of these pieces fit in. Oh, there we go, just like that. That fits in. Now, I don't know if they can change or interchange or something. They might not. If they do, I'll probably be using some magnets. Now, there's some big piece that goes in here. I wonder if it's this one. No. Ooh. I wonder if that goes in there as well. Yes, it does. Okay, so they're two different pieces that can go into that. So that may be a benefit for some magnetizing. And then there's a big bit in the middle here. This looks like it fits. There we go. Does that fit? I think it does. Yeah, so I'll have to work that out, but it looks like interchangeable pieces. But what an amazing thing. It's astonishing. Then we've got this otherworldly, horrific Lovecraftian beast. Look at that. Look at this. Ah! It's like a void going into hell. Ah! It's horrible. And this also looks like it has some pieces. I think this one here probably fits in there. Yes, it does. So that fits in there. Why that couldn't have just been sculpted in, I don't know. But again, maybe it's interchangeable. Interesting. I have to work all this out. But what a thing. That is quite amazing. Terrifying. I can only hope that you're really powerful by the time you get to meet something like this. And then you have this astonishing, huge thing, which is going to take a long time to paint, but will look incredible. Look at that. This doesn't seem to have oh no, it's got some interchangeable bits too. So here's a bit here that looks like that goes in here or something. I don't know. Ugh. Wow. Really incredible. Well, so if you haven't guessed, folks, I'm pretty blown away by Aeon Trespass Odyssey. So far, I only have two criticisms. Didn't like the white box. I think that was a misfire. Everything else is gorgeous. And the only other thing, and I'm sure I'll learn the reason for it as I go through, is the name. Aeon Trespass Odyssey is just such a mouthful. It doesn't roll off the tongue at all. And I am a fan of a quick, snappy board game name. Silly little things to worry about, because everything else is beautiful. And as I said, I've heard really, really good reports. I'm really impressed with the reviews that I've read of people who are already deep into this game. It took a little bit longer to get down here to New Zealand, so some people are already way into it. As I said, I'm going to be getting into it as well and filming a review, so I can let you know exactly what I think of Aeon Trespass Odyssey. But wow, the quality is definitely here. It looks like an amazing labor of love. The detail is amazing. Really love the graphic design as well of all of these pieces. Inside, it just looks gorgeous. Wow, the amazing games that we have access to these days. We're really living in an astonishing age of board gaming and tabletop gaming and role-playing. Yep, it's a fantastic hobby and it never ceases to fascinate me. I love talking about it. I hope you'll continue to watch the Esoteric Order of Gamers so you can join me on my journey of discovery for these games. And also, of course, when my rules and reference for this game is available, it'll be on my site at orderofgamers.com, along with more than 400 other ones. There's about 430 something ones there already. So this will be about 437 or something like that. There's a lot there to enjoy. I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Go and check me out on social media. Check out my Patreon channel if you're interested in supporting me. I'd really appreciate it. I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.